Hello dear viewers, good evening and welcome on this 7 p.m. newscast of today, December 17, 2020. Here are the headlines. Barely 2 months since school resumption, most students are no longer respecting COVID-19 measures despite the government warning against a second outbreak. French President Emmanuel Macron has tested positive for COVID-19 after experiencing symptoms. His office said this Thursday. The Nigerian government says it is reopening 4 borders crossing with Benin and Niger, more than a year after they were shut in an effort to stop smuggling of agricultural produce and weapons. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all for the headlines. Welcome back. 10 months into the fight against the COVID-19 in Cameroon, the country has witnessed a significant success with a 95% recovery rate from the over 1,000 cases recorded so far. However, there has no significant rise of cases in the past weeks, with 500 new cases and 2 deaths recorded last week, according to the latest figures from the Minister of Public Health. More in this report by Promise Fosu.
The Littoral region and West regions have recorded an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the past weeks, Dr. Manauda Malashi, the Minister of Public Health, had announced. According to recent release, 25,472 cases have been recorded in the country, with 445 deaths and 23,851 recoveries. Even though students without face masks have been prohibited from school premises, most schools are not enforcing these measures. During resumption early October, measures to curb the spread were fully respected in these institutions, with hand wash materials and 1 meter distancing among students fully enforced. Currently, most denizens care less about the virus, and less than 2 in every 10 persons still wear the face mask, which is one of the protective measures to contract the virus, according to the World Health Organization. The education sector have insisted on the challenge of educational inequalities on the implementation of strategies to fight the pandemic, especially since the Education Orientation Law enshrines education as a major national priority. It is noted that more than 2 weeks after the arrival of COVID in Cameroon, the ministers of secondary and basic education were still searching for the appropriate technologies and apparatus with which to complete the 2019 and 2020 school year. According to Dr. Manauda Malashi, the Ministry of Public Health has been responsible for the curb of the spread of the disease through active surveillance, screening at points of entry, laboratory testing, and case management at designated isolation and treatment centers.
French President Emmanuel Macron has tested positive for COVID-19 after experiencing symptoms, his office said in a statement from the Élysée Palace. In accordance with current health regulations applicable to all, the President of the Republic will isolate himself for 7 days. He will, however, continue to work and carry out his activities remotely. French Prime Minister Jean Castex will also self-isolate. Macron had a busy week in the days leading up to his positive test. On Wednesday, he met Portugal's Prime Minister Antonio Costa for lunch and attended a cabinet meeting. On Tuesday, Macron met with various people, including the president of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Peter Mora. It is to be noted that France on Wednesday reported 17,615 new cases and 289 deaths, bringing the country to more than 2.4 million infections and 59,361 deaths since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. In Cameroon, the inter-employer group of Cameroon GICAM placed the card of stability during the 129th Ordinary and Elective General Assembly. The members of this employees organization against plebiscited Celestin Tawamba at the end of the rally. 213 votes against 10 invalids ballots. This is the result out of the polls. Barely re-elected, he clearly displayed his willingness to present his peers wherever needed. This report tells us more.
Members of the interpatronal group GICAM of Cameroon met this Wednesday, December 16, 2020, in an ordinary and elective general assembly. In the ordinary part of this meeting, they validated the account for the 2019 financial year after having listened respectively to the chairman's moral, the activity report of the executive secretariat, the management report of the board of directors, and the report of the external auditor. The election of a new board of directors was the main menu of this meeting. After the usual formalities, the Bureau of the Assembly, chaired by Honorary President André Siaka, supervised the vote, for which only one list was in competition. At the end of it, the results are as follows. Voting 223, valid votes cast 223, ballot void 10, that is 4.49%, JICAM in action 213, that is 95.51%. The Honorary President praised the extraordinary mobilization of the members of the group and indicated that the massive vote reflects the confidence and support of the members in the program and in the list led by President Celestin Tawamba. In his inauguration speech, he warmly thanked the members of this plebiscite. He outlined the main axes of the program and announced the major projects of this new mandate. He took the opportunity to announce the choices of the Vice President, who are: First Vice President, Madame Reine Esomanje; Second Vice President, Mr. Emmanuel Detali, mentioning that the new Board of Directors would take office on January 1, 2021.
Malawi has been named Country of the Year by The Economist new paper following the Supreme Court's decision to annul its presidential election. The newspaper explains that there is a blueprint for presidents keen to reach elections. First, use state resources to bribe, fool, and bully people before the poll. Once voting starts, stuffs the ballot boxes or fiddles the tallies. Afterwards, make sure the army and judges are on your side in case opponents take their case to the streets of the court. That vote was annulled by Malawi's top court over widespread of systematic irregularities, and a rerun election was held on June 23. Allegations of vote rigging sparked protests across the normal peaceful country last year, shortly after results were announced. Several of the demonstrations turned violent. Chakwera 65 comfortably beated Peter Mutharika with 58.5% of the vote, marking the first time in African history that an election rerun led to the defeat of an incumbent. A triumphant Chakwera gave a rousing speech after receiving the sword of command from the Army General Peter Namatanga in the capital Lilongwe. The Nigerian government says it is reopening 4 borders crossing with Benin and Niger more than a year after they were shut in an effort to stop smuggling of agricultural produce and weapons. Other borders points will reopen at the end of December. Last month, after some initial reluctance, Nigeria ratified its membership of the African Free Trade Zone. When it officially launches in January, it will become the first largest free trade area in the world. It aims to significantly increase the value of intra-African trade. Business owners have long complained that moving goods across Africa's often chaotic borders is a major hindrance to economic growth. We remain in Nigeria, where more states in the north have ordered all schools to close following the last week's kidnapping of hundreds of pupils in Katsina State. Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, and Jigawa have followed Katsina in closing school following Friday's attack. The Islamist militant group Boko Haram has said it is behind the raid. More than 300 children are still missing, raising fears for the safety of other schools, especially those in remote areas. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Union of Teachers has threatened a nationwide strike unless the government urgently improves the security situation. It is on this note that we conclude, dear televiewers. Thanks for watching till the end. Le Journal de 20h comes up with Thierry Nyopé. Until this, see you tomorrow and have a blessed evening.